Who's actually going to get the most out of a 48-inch freestanding range like the FORNO Capriasca, and who should walk away before they even open the box? If you're a family that cooks every night, love the idea of a big oven but hate the hassle of juggling multiple pans, you might be curious. If you're a single professional who barely uses the stovetop, or you're already happy with a compact cooktop and a separate wall oven, this might be overkill. And then there's the pricito value question: does the extra burner count and the huge oven volume really translate into something you'll appreciate day to day, or are you just paying for size? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the full-size gas range market, the biggest hesitation I saw from shoppers was the fear of ending up with a kitchen monster that takes up half the wall, looks impressive but sits idle most of the time. The Capriasca sits on a 48-inch footprint, so you need a sizable kitchen layout, roughly the width of a standard fridge, plus a little breathing room for the side burners. If your countertop is already cramped, installing this range could feel like moving a piano into a studio apartment. That's the first practical hurdle: space. People who have a dedicated cooking island or a wide perimeter tend to love the extra cooking real estate. Those in tighter apartments will likely have to look elsewhere. The next question is about the daily workflow. The 8 sealed burners give you a lot of flexibility, from simmering a delicate sauce on the smallest ring to searing a steak on the biggest. In real life, most home cooks never use more than 3 or 4 burners at once. The biggest, high-output burner is good for wok cooking or large-batch sautéing, but if you rarely do that kind of high-heat work, you might wonder whether you'll actually benefit from the extra circles. On the flip side, the sealed burner design means less flare-ups and easier cleaning. The grates sit on a heavy-duty cast-iron base that resists warping, which is a nice practical touch when you clean after a greasy night of frying. Now, let's talk about the oven capacity. At 6.58 cubic feet, the double convection oven can handle a full turkey and 2 sheet pans at the same time, which is perfect for holiday cooking or batch prepping meals for the week. If you've ever tried to fit a roast in a 5-foot cube oven and found yourself juggling trays, you'll notice a genuine difference here. The convection fans are built right into the back of each chamber, delivering a more even bake without having to rotate dishes. That said, the convection fans aren't silent. They produce a low hum that some people notice when the oven is running for the whole cooking cycle. It's not a defect, just a characteristic you'll get used to. One subtle trade-off is the control panel layout. The knobs are positioned on the front of the range, grouped by the stovetop sections and the 2 ovens. For someone who likes the sleek touchscreen panels of newer models, the mechanical dials may feel a bit old school. However, the tactile feedback is solid, and you won't have to worry about screen glare or a dead pixel after a few months of use. If you prefer a more digital interface with preset programs, this might be a minor disappointment. Installation is another area that can surprise buyers. Because this is a full-size freestanding unit, you need a proper gas line hookup, adequate ventilation, and a floor that can support the weight. The unit itself is heavy. The stainless steel shell and cast iron grates add up to a solid feel. If you're handy and plan to install it yourself, make sure you have a qualified gas technician on standby. Otherwise, the cost of professional installation can push the total outlay up significantly. For many shoppers, that hidden labor cost is the real deal-breaker rather than the sticker price. What about the practical strengths? First, the range's 8 sealed burners give you true control over temperature zones. I saw a few home cooking videos where people used 2 burners simultaneously, one on high for a quick boil and another on low for a gentle simmer, all without cross-contamination of heat. The sealed design also means the burners stay cleaner longer, which is a time-saver when you're juggling multiple dishes. Second, the dual ovens with convection mean you can roast a chicken in one chamber while baking a batch of cookies in the other, and both will come out evenly cooked, something that single-oven users struggle with. Finally, the heavy-duty cast-iron grates hold up well under heavy cookware. You won't see the warping that cheaper aluminum grates can develop over time. The weaknesses are a bit more nuanced. The sheer size can dominate an open-concept kitchen, potentially making the space feel less airy. The convection fans, while effective, add a subtle noise that can be audible in a quiet house. The control knobs, though reliable, lack the modern feel of digital panels, which could matter to tech-savvy buyers. And finally, the gas-only configuration means you don't get the